Before we begin, please note that the information in this presentation is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or professional advice. I am not a financial advisor. The content is based on research and data believed to be reliable, but its accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed. You should consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions. Your financial security is your own responsibility. Imagine this. You wake up on a Tuesday morning, grab your coffee, and open your banking app to pay a bill. But your heart drops into your stomach. Your checking account balance, which was over $4,000 yesterday, now reads 87 cents. Your savings account, completely empty. A wave of panic washes over you. This isn't a scene from a thriller movie. This exact scenario happened to a high school history teacher from Pennsylvania just a few months ago. He lost his entire life savings, nearly $70,000, in less than an hour. And the worst part? The breach didn't happen because a super hacker broke into the bank's servers. It happened because of one single, convincing text message he received while cooking dinner. He's not alone. Last year, according to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, people in the United States reported losing a staggering $12.5 billion to online scams. That's not a typo. Billion with a B. That's more than the entire GDP of dozens of countries, vanished from the bank accounts of everyday Americans. From retirees in Florida to tech workers in California. The question isn't if these digital predators are coming for your money. The question is when. And will you be ready? That is the entire reason for this series. This isn't just another boring video about using strong passwords. This is your digital self-defense masterclass. Over the next 10 parts, we are going to dismantle the playbook used by online criminals piece by piece. We're going to give you the knowledge and the tools not just to protect your money, but to turn your online banking presence from a vulnerable target into a digital fortress. By the end of this journey, you won't just feel safer. You will be safer. You will be able to spot a scam from a mile away, understand the technology that keeps you secure, and build habits that make you a hard target for even the most sophisticated criminals. Let's clear up a huge misconception right now. Getting scammed has almost nothing to do with how old you are or how good you are with technology. The most brilliant software engineers get duped. The most cautious grandparents fall victim. Why? Because modern online thieves don't hack systems, they hack people. They don't need to break through the bank's billion-dollar firewalls if they can just trick you into opening the door and handing them the keys. To truly secure your financial life online, you need to build what I call your digital armor. This armor is made of 3 critical layers, 3 pillars of protection. The first and most important is your mindset. The second is your fortress, the technical nuts and bolts of security. And the third is your habits, the daily practices that keep you safe. We will cover all 3 in this series, but today we start with the foundation upon which everything else is built, your mindset. You have to become your own human firewall. Think about it like this. Your bank has spent fortunes on encryption, on secure servers, on fraud detection algorithms. That's their job. But all of that technology is focused on the outside, on stopping brute force attacks. The scammers know this. So they bypass it all and come directly to you. They use psychology, not code. Their goal is to trigger a powerful emotional response that overrides your logical thinking. They want to get you into a state of what psychologists call ether-sis, a heightened emotional state where you act first and think later. There are 4 primary emotional triggers they use to do this. Master these, and you'll be able to spot 99% of the attacks that come your way. The first and most effective is fear. You get an email with the subject line in all caps, "Urgent. Your social security number has been compromised." Or a text message that says, "Suspicious login attempt on your Wells Fargo account. If this was not you, click here immediately to secure your account." Your brain's alarm bells go off. The fear of losing your money, of identity theft, of being locked out of your own life is overwhelming. They're creating a crisis and then conveniently offering you a one-click solution. That solution, of course, is the trap. The second trigger is urgency. This is fear's nasty little brother. They always create a deadline. You must verify your information within 24 hours, or your account will be permanently suspended. This unique offer expires in the next 10 minutes. They don't want you to have time to think. They don't want you to call your bank or ask a friend. Urgency is designed to force a knee-jerk reaction. A real bank will never pressure you with an immediate, irreversible consequence deadline like that. They might send you a notice, but they won't threaten to delete your account in the next 5 minutes via a text message. The third trigger is greed. This one feels almost insulting, but it works with stunning regularity. You've been selected to receive a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Congratulations! You've won the Mega Millions sweepstakes. Click here to claim your prize. Or the more modern version. A message from a supposed crypto millionaire offering to double any Bitcoin you send them. Our natural desire for a good deal or a lucky break can cloud our judgment. The thought of what if it's real can be just powerful enough to make you click. And the fourth trigger is curiosity. This is the most subtle. You get a text from an unknown number. Hey, is this you in this photo? With a strange link. Or an email with the subject regarding our meeting and a PDF attachment. You don't remember a meeting. You're not expecting a photo, but your curiosity is piqued. What is it? Who is it? That single click to satisfy your curiosity is all it takes to install malware on your device that can steal your banking passwords in the background without you ever knowing. Fear, urgency, greed, curiosity. These are the four horsemen of the digital apocalypse. They are the weapons used to bypass your logic. So what's the defense? It's a simple two-step mental protocol that you need to burn into your brain until it becomes an automatic reflex. I call it the pause and verify protocol. The moment you feel one of those four emotions from any digital message, a text, an email, a social media DM, your first action is to pause. Do nothing. Don't click, don't reply, don't call the number they provided. Just stop. Take a deep breath. Acknowledge the feeling. Okay, this email is making me feel scared. Or this text is making me feel rushed. By simply naming the emotion, you engage the logical part of your brain and start to pull yourself out of that reactive emotional state. The second step is to verify. But here's the critical part. You must verify through a separate, trusted channel. Not the link in the email. Not the phone number in the text. If you get a scary email that looks like it's from Bank of America, close the email. Open a new web browser window. Manually type in bankofamerica.com yourself. Log into your account the way you always do, and check for any messages or alerts there. If there's a real issue, it will be waiting for you in your secure message center. Or even better, flip over your debit card, call the official customer service number printed on the back, and speak to a real human. Pause and verify. It's that simple. It's the circuit breaker that stops the emotional hijack from succeeding. It takes an extra 30 seconds, but those 30 seconds can be the difference between security and an empty bank account. This is your new mindset. Every unsolicited message is guilty until proven innocent. You are the gatekeeper. Mastering this mindset is the first and most crucial layer of your digital armor. In the next part, we're going to build the second layer, the fortress. We'll dive deep into the technology itself, passwords, two-factor authentication, biometrics, and the simple settings on your phone and computer that can dramatically increase your security. You've now built the human firewall. Next, we build the digital walls. Let's start with the most basic, most fundamental, and most universally misunderstood tool in our digital lives, the password. Feels ancient, doesn't it? A relic from a dial-up era. And yet, it remains the primary key to almost everything we hold valuable online. The problem is, we are biologically terrible at creating them. Our brains are pattern-making machines. We're designed to find shortcuts, to remember faces, stories, and familiar phrases. We are not designed to remember 16 characters of random gibberish. And that single conflict between human memory and computer logic is where nearly all security failures begin. Think about the first password you ever created. Was it a pet's name? Your birthday? The name of your favorite band followed by the number 1? We all did it. Because our brain said, make it memorable. But a hacker's computer doesn't care about memorable. It only cares about math. Let's quickly deconstruct what a strong password actually is. Because the advice we've been given for years is dangerously outdated. You've heard it a million times. 8 characters, an uppercase letter, a lowercase letter, a number, and a symbol. So you create something like P at SSW0RD1. Ticks all the boxes. It looks complicated. Feels secure. But to a modern computer, it is laughably simple. Why? Because it's predictable. Hackers don't guess passwords like a human would. They use massive dictionaries of common words, common substitutions, like the @ symbol for a, or a 0 for O, and common number patterns. A computer can run through billions of these combinations in seconds. Your clever P at SSW0RD1 might hold it off for at best a few minutes. The real measure of a password's strength isn't its complexity, but its entropy. That's a fancy word for randomness and unpredictability. It's about how much guesswork a computer would have to do. And the single biggest factor in increasing that guesswork is length. Consider this phrase: blue giraffe drove purple taxi. It's 4 random, unrelated words. It's long. It contains no special characters, no numbers, no uppercase letters. Breaks all the old rules. But because of its length and randomness, a standard desktop computer would take not minutes, not days, but potentially trillions of years to guess it. Compare that to P at SSW0RD1. It's not even a contest. The long, simple-to-remember passphrase wins every single time. This is the new gold standard. Length and randomness over forced complexity. A short, memorable sentence that has nothing to do with you personally is one of the most powerful digital keys you can forge. But this creates an immediate, obvious problem. How on earth are you supposed to create and remember a unique, long, random passphrase for every single website you use? Your bank, your email, your social media, your streaming service, that online store you bought a gift from 3 years ago. It's impossible. And if you reuse that one brilliant passphrase everywhere, you've just created a single point of failure. If one minor, insecure website gets breached, criminals now have the master key to your entire digital life. This is where a password manager comes in. And I want you to stop thinking of it as a piece of software. Think of it as your own personal digital vault, with a security guard who works for you 24/7. Here's how it works. You create one single, extremely strong master password, a long passphrase like we just discussed. This is the only password you ever have to remember. You lock your vault with it. Inside that vault, the password manager creates and stores a completely random 20+ character password for every single website you use. Something like W7 #KZ and V9 at PQ. N*G$ R2ST. Utter gibberish. Impossible for a human to remember, and nearly impossible for a computer to guess. When you go to log into your bank, the password manager recognizes the website and, with your permission, automatically fills in that impossibly long, unique password. This has 2 incredible benefits. First, you get the security of a ridiculously strong password on every site without the headache of remembering it. Second, it's a powerful defense against phishing. If you get a fake email that looks like it's from your bank and click a link to a fraudulent website, your password manager won't recognize the web address. It won't offer to fill in the password. That small moment of friction is a massive red flag, telling you, wait, something's not right here. Now, the biggest question people have is always, but what if the password manager company gets hacked? It's a valid concern, but top-tier password managers are built on a principle called zero-knowledge architecture. This means all your passwords, all your data, are encrypted and decrypted directly on your own device, your phone or computer. The key to unlock that data is your master password. You and only you ever have that key. The password manager company never sees it, never stores it. All they store on their servers is a scrambled, encrypted blob of data that is completely useless to anyone without your master password. So even if they were breached, the hackers would steal a locked vault with no key. So now you have unique, unguessable keys to every door. But what if someone steals a key? What if your bank password is exposed in a data breach at another company? That's where the next layer comes in, and it is arguably the single most important security feature you can enable today: 2-factor authentication, or 2FA. Think of it this way. Your password is the key to your front door. 2FA is the security guard standing inside who asks for a second form of ID before letting anyone in, even if they have the key. It works on a simple principle: combining something you know, your password, with something you have, like your phone. The most common form of 2FA is a code sent to you via SMS text message. When you log in, the bank texts you a 6-digit code, and you enter it to prove you are who you say you are. This is good. It is 1,000 times better than just a password alone. But it has a vulnerability. Criminals have become very effective at a technique called SIM swapping. They call your mobile provider, pretend to be you, and convince the customer service agent to transfer your phone number to a new SIM card that they control. Once they have your number, they receive your 2FA codes. It's a sophisticated attack, but it happens. A much better option is to use an authenticator app. Apps like Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, or Authy generate those 6-digit codes directly on your phone. The codes are tied to your specific device, not your phone number. They change every 30 seconds. This completely bypasses the risk of SIM swapping. If a criminal steals your password and even takes control of your phone number, they still can't get that constantly changing code from the app on your physical phone. This is the method most security professionals recommend. The gold standard for those who want the highest level of security for their most critical accounts is a physical hardware key like a YubiKey. This is a small device that looks like a tiny USB drive. To log in, you enter your password, then you plug the key into your computer and simply touch it. That's it. It sends a unique, encrypted cryptographic signature that proves it's you. It is virtually impossible to phish. A criminal can't trick you into giving them a code because there is no code. They need the physical key. Finally, let's talk about the tool you use every single day: biometrics. Your fingerprint or your face. Touch ID and Face ID feel like magic, but the technology behind them is a critical part of your device's security. A common fear is that your fingerprint or face data is being uploaded to some corporate server. That's not how it works on modern devices. This data is stored in a special, highly fortified chip on your phone called a secure enclave. It's a vault within your device that is isolated from the main processor and operating system. Your biometric data is converted into a mathematical representation and stored there. It never leaves your device. When you use Face ID, the phone compares what it sees to the data in the enclave. It's a local handshake. So you've now forged unbreakable keys with a password manager. You've put a digital security guard on the door with two-factor authentication, and you've secured the physical device you hold in your hand with biometrics. The digital walls of your fortress are now high and strong, but those walls are built on a foundation: the network you're connected to, the Wi-Fi at the airport, the internet in your own home, the invisible signals carrying your most sensitive information. If that foundation is cracked, even the strongest walls can crumble. In the next part, we secure the connection itself, making public networks private and turning your home into a digital stronghold. Think of your internet connection as a pipeline. When you bank online, you're sending the most precious cargo imaginable, your financial identity, through that pipeline. The question is, who else has access to it? Who's listening in? Securing that connection is not just a technical step. It's like soundproofing the room before you share a secret. It's about ensuring that the conversation between you and your bank is private, with no eavesdroppers. Let's start with the most common danger zone: public Wi-Fi. The coffee shop, the airport terminal, the hotel lobby. We've all been there. You have 10 minutes to spare, so you connect to the free network to quickly check your balance or pay a bill. It seems harmless, but in that moment you could be walking into a digital ambush. The very convenience that makes public Wi-Fi so attractive is what makes it so incredibly risky. These networks are often unencrypted, meaning the data you send is broadcast like a conversation shouted across a crowded room. Anyone with basic hacking tools can listen in. This is where a man-in-the-middle attack happens. Imagine you're passing a note to your friend across a table. A person sitting between you intercepts the note, reads it, maybe even changes it, and then passes it along. You and your friend are completely unaware that your private message has been compromised. On a public Wi-Fi network, a cybercriminal can position themselves digitally between you and the website you're trying to reach, like your bank. They intercept everything: your username, your password, your account numbers. You're logging into what you think is your bank, but you're actually handing your credentials directly to a thief. It gets even more sinister with something called an evil twin hotspot. A hacker sets up their own Wi-Fi network with a name that looks legitimate. For example, if the coffee shop's real network is coffeehouse_guest, the hacker might create one called coffeehouse Wi-Fi. Your phone or laptop, seeking the strongest signal, might automatically connect to the hacker's network. From that point on, every single thing you do online, every password you type, every form you fill out is routed through their computer. They have a front row seat to your entire digital life. You've essentially invited the burglar in and offered them a cup of coffee while they copy the keys to your financial kingdom. So how do you defend against these invisible threats? How do you turn a hostile public network into a secure private channel? The single most powerful tool for this job is a VPN, or virtual private network. A VPN is your personal, encrypted tunnel through the public internet. Here's how it works in simple terms. Before your data leaves your device, the VPN software wraps it in a layer of powerful encryption. It's like putting a letter inside a locked, steel box before dropping it in the mail. This locked box is then sent to a secure server owned by the VPN company. Only then is it sent to its final destination, like your bank's website. Anyone on the local Wi-Fi network trying to snoop on your activity won't see your bank details. They'll just see unreadable, scrambled code, the outside of that steel box. They won't know where it's going or what's inside. The man in the middle is left empty-handed, and the evil twin hotspot becomes useless. Using a VPN is like hiring a personal security detail for your data. It travels with you everywhere, creating a bubble of privacy around you, even in the most insecure environments. When choosing a VPN service, it's helpful to consider a few key factors. Look for providers that have a strict no-logs policy. This means they don't keep records of your online activity, which is crucial for privacy. Also, consider the strength of their encryption protocols. Terms like OpenVPN and WireGuard represent some of the current industry standards for security. A reputable VPN is an investment, but when you consider what it's protecting, it's one of the most cost-effective security measures you can take. Remember, the rule of thumb is simple. If the Wi-Fi isn't yours and it's not password protected, turn on your VPN before you do anything else. Now let's bring this home. Literally, many people feel a false sense of security on their own home Wi-Fi network. But your home network is only as strong as its weakest link, and for most people that weak link is the router itself, that blinking box sitting in the corner of your living room. It's the digital front door to your home, and if you've left it unlocked, you've made a criminal's job incredibly easy. The first and most critical step is to change the default administrative password on your router. When your router is manufactured, it's given a generic username and password, like admin and password. These defaults are publicly available online in massive lists. A hacker can simply try these common combinations and within seconds, gain complete control over your entire network. They can see what websites you visit, redirect you to fake banking sites, and even infect your devices with malware. Leaving the default password on your router is the digital equivalent of leaving the key to your house under the welcome mat with a neon sign pointing to it. Log into your router settings. You can usually do this by typing an IP address like 192.168.1 into your web browser, and change that password to something long, unique, and complex immediately. Second, you must use the strongest Wi-Fi encryption available. In your router settings, you'll see options like WEP, WPA, WPA2, and maybe even WPA3. Think of these as different types of locks. WEP is an old rusty padlock that can be broken in minutes with basic tools. WPA is a slight improvement, but it's still vulnerable. WPA2 with AES encryption has been the standard for years and is like a solid steel deadbolt. It's tough to crack. WPA3 is the newest and most secure, like a high-tech smart lock. You should select the highest level of security your router supports, which for most people will be WPA2 AES or ideally WPA3. Anything less is an open invitation for trouble. Third, while you're in the settings, consider changing your network's name, also known as the SSID. Avoid using your family name, your address, or anything that personally identifies you. A name like the Johnson Family Wi-Fi tells a potential attacker exactly who you are and where you live. Choose something generic and anonymous. This is less about preventing a direct hack and more about not making yourself an obvious target. Finally, one of the most effective but underutilized features on modern routers is the guest network. A guest network is a separate, isolated network that you can create for visitors. When friends or family come over, they can connect to the guest network to get online without ever touching your main network. Why is this so important? You don't know if their phones or laptops are secure. A device on your main network could potentially have malware that can spread to your other devices, like your personal computer where you do your banking. The guest network acts as a digital quarantine zone. It provides internet access but keeps their devices completely separate from your sensitive computers, smart home devices, and network storage. It's like letting a guest stay in a detached guest house instead of giving them a key to your main home. By fortifying your router, you're not just protecting your Wi-Fi password. You're building a digital fortress around everything you own. You're ensuring that the pipeline for your financial data, which starts inside your home, is secure from the very beginning. The connection is now a lockdown private channel, but the security chain is only as strong as every single link. We've secured the signal as it travels through the air, but what about the device sending that signal? The phone in your hand, the laptop on your desk, that is the next battleground. Because even with the most secure connection in the world, if the device itself is compromised, it's all for nothing. Think of your phone or computer as a digital vault. Inside that vault is everything: your photos, your private messages, and the keys to your financial kingdom, your banking apps. We just spent time talking about securing the Wi-Fi signal, the invisible pathway to that vault. But all of that is meaningless if a thief can just walk up to the vault, find the door wide open and stroll right inside. That's what happens when your device itself is compromised. It's the digital equivalent of having the world's most advanced alarm system on a house with no locks on the doors. The primary weapon used to breach these devices is something you've probably heard of, but you might not understand its terrifying efficiency: malware. It's a catch-all term for malicious software designed to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorized access to a computer system. And when it comes to your money, the malware is incredibly specialized. It's not about crashing your computer for fun. It's about surgical silent theft. Let's start with one of the oldest and most effective types: the keylogger. Imagine a tiny, invisible spy perched on your shoulder every time you use your phone or laptop. Every single letter you type, every number, every symbol, is being recorded in a secret file. When you type www.bnkofameric-com, the keylogger records it. When you enter your username, jsmith1985, it records it. And when you type your password, fluffycat23, it records that too. Later, when you're offline, that little spy packages up its secret file and sends it to a criminal halfway across the world. They now have the exact keys to your bank account. They don't need to guess your password. You typed it out for them. But criminals have evolved. Why just steal the key when you can trick the vault into opening for you? This is where a more sinister piece of software comes into play: the banking Trojan. A Trojan, just like the Trojan horse from Greek mythology, disguises itself as something you want. It might be a free game, a PDF reader, or even a fake antivirus program. You download it, install it, and nothing seems to happen. But in the background, the Trojan is waiting. It lies dormant until it detects you opening your browser and navigating to your bank's website. The moment you do, it springs into action. Some Trojans are brutally simple. They wait for you to log in, and then they scrape the information directly from the screen or the web form, capturing your login details and account balance. Others are far more deceptive. They can perform what's called a man-in-the-browser attack. When you go to your bank's website, the Trojan intercepts the connection. It shows you the real website, but it acts as an invisible middleman. You type in your username and password, and the Trojan captures it before passing it along to the bank. You get logged in like normal, completely unaware that your credentials have been stolen. The most terrifying versions create a pixel-perfect overlay. You open your legitimate banking app on your phone, but the Trojan instantly places a fake login screen directly on top of it. It looks identical. The logo is right, the colors are right, the font is right. You enter your username and password into the fake screen, and as soon as you hit login, the fake screen vanishes, revealing the real app underneath, which now might show an error message like "Login failed. Please try again." You thinking you just made a typo, enter your details again into the real app, and this time it works. But it's too late. The criminals have your credentials. You handed them over yourself. So the question is, how does this malware even get onto our devices? It rarely just appears. In almost every case, we, the users, are tricked into installing it. This is the art of social engineering, exploiting human psychology rather than technical flaws. The most common delivery method is phishing. You get an email or a text message, a practice known as smishing, that appears to be from your bank. It has the logo, the official-looking language, and a terrifying message: urgent. Suspicious activity detected on your account. Click here to verify your identity immediately. Your heart jumps. Your first instinct is to protect your money, so you click. The link takes you to a website that, just like the Trojan overlay, is a perfect clone of your bank's login page. You enter your credentials to verify your identity, and you've just given them away. Or worse, the link doesn't go to a website but instead initiates a drive-by download. The moment you click, a piece of malware, a keylogger, a Trojan, is silently installed on your device without you even knowing. The urgency in the message is the bait. The fear is the hook. These criminals are masters at creating a sense of panic to make you act before you think. They do it over the phone too, in a method called vishing, or voice phishing. The phone rings and the caller ID might even say the name of your bank. A calm, professional-sounding person on the other end says they're from the fraud department. "Sir, we've detected a suspicious purchase of $4,000 for airline tickets to another country. We've temporarily frozen your account, but to confirm it wasn't you, I need you to verify your identity. Can you please confirm your username, and the last 4 digits of your social security number. They sound so legitimate. They create a problem and immediately offer a solution. But they are the problem. These attacks prey on a fundamental weakness: our trust in systems and our fear of loss. But they also rely on technical vulnerabilities that we leave open on our own devices. The single most critical aspect of device security is keeping your software updated. When Apple or Google or Microsoft releases an operating system update, it's not just to give you new emojis. The most important parts of those updates are security patches. Hackers are constantly looking for new flaws, new backdoors in the software. When a company finds one, they create a patch to seal it shut and push it out to you in an update. If you ignore that update, you are knowingly leaving a window unlocked for a burglar to climb through. Running an outdated operating system is like advertising to criminals that your device is an easy target. The same goes for your web browser and all your individual apps. Enable automatic updates. It is one of the most powerful passive security measures you can take. Next, we have to talk about the apps themselves. Your phone is not a sterile environment. Every app you install is a new piece of code running on your device, and you need to be the gatekeeper. The safest practice is to only download apps from official sources: the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. These companies have review processes to try and weed out malicious apps. It's not a perfect system, but it's infinitely safer than downloading an app from a random website or a third-party store. This practice, called sideloading, is incredibly risky. You have no idea what else is bundled with that app you're installing. And even with apps from official stores, you must be a conscious consumer. Pay attention to the permissions and app requests. When you install a new app and it asks for access to your contacts, your microphone, your location, and your photos, ask yourself, does it really need that to function? A simple calculator app has no business needing to read your text messages. A flashlight app doesn't need access to your microphone. Deny permissions that don't make sense. Each permission you grant is another potential door you're opening into your digital life. Finally, there's the first and most basic line of defense: the lock on your device itself. A strong passcode, a fingerprint, a facial scan. This is what stops someone who physically gets your phone from accessing your entire life. Don't use 1-2-3-4 or your birthday. Use a long alphanumeric passcode. Use the biometric options available to you. It might seem like an inconvenience to unlock your phone every time, but that single simple step can be the difference between a lost phone and a lost life savings. Securing your device is an active process. It requires vigilance. It means installing reputable antivirus and anti-malware software on your computers and even your phones. It means treating every unsolicited email and text message with deep suspicion. It means understanding that the tools we use for convenience are the very same tools criminals want to exploit for profit. We've secured the airwaves with secure Wi-Fi, and now we've begun to fortify the device itself. We've put locks on the doors and windows, but there's still one more critical point of failure. The very thing we use to prove who we are online, our passwords. Because even with a secure connection and a clean device, a weak or stolen password makes it all irrelevant. And the strategies for protecting them have changed more than you could possibly imagine. For decades, the advice was the same. You heard it from your IT department, you saw it on every website registration form. Create a complex password. Use a capital letter, a lowercase letter, a number, and a symbol. Make it at least 8 characters long. And for the love of all that is secure, change it every 90 days. It sounded like solid advice, a digital fortress built of punctuation and shifting numbers. But in practice, it was a spectacular failure. And understanding why it failed is the key to understanding modern digital security. Problem is us. We're human. We're creatures of habit and pattern. When forced to create a password like TR0 up 4 door and 3, we can't remember it. So what do? We write it on a sticky note. Or worse, when that 90-day timer goes off and the system demands a new password, we don't create something new and random. We iterate. TR0 up 4 door and 3 becomes TR0 up 4 door and 4. Or we use a system tied to the calendar. Spring 2023 becomes Summer 2023. Hackers know this. They don't just guess random letters, they guess human patterns. They know you're going to swap the for an @ symbol or an S for a $sign. This forced complexity and constant changing didn't make us more secure. It just created password fatigue and made us predictable. This led to the single biggest vulnerability for the average person: password reuse. You have an account for your bank, your email, your power company, your Amazon account, your Netflix, And that one online forum you used 5 years ago to ask a question about your new puppy. How many passwords do you have? For most people, the answer is 1, maybe 2 or 3 variations. So when that puppy forum with its shoestring budget and non-existent security team gets hacked, the criminals don't just get your username and password for that one site. They get a potential key to your entire digital life. They take that list of millions of stolen emails and passwords, and they run automated programs called credential stuffing attacks that try that exact same combination on every major banking, email, and retail website in the world. They are betting on your fatigue. They're betting you use the same key for every door. And far too often they are right. This is why the modern philosophy on passwords has done a complete 180. The new advice, championed by the National Institute of Standards and Technology, the very people who set these guidelines for the government, is to forget complexity and focus on length. Enter the passphrase. Instead of a short, complex, and forgettable password like J@GW, Re99, consider a passphrase like 4 purple monkeys ate tacos. It's long. It's memorable to you. But for a computer trying to guess it, it's a mathematical nightmare. Think about it this way. A brute force attack is basically a computer trying every possible combination of letters, numbers, and symbols. For an 8-character password using upper and lowercase, numbers, and symbols, the number of possibilities is enormous. But it's within the realm of what modern supercomputers can crack, sometimes in minutes or hours. But what about our 4-word passphrase? A common dictionary has about 170,000 words. The number of possible 4-word combinations from that dictionary isn't just adding them up. It's 170,000 to the 4th power. That's a number so large it doesn't have a name you'd recognize. It would take the fastest supercomputers we have today billions, if not trillions, of years to guess it. Length, not complexity, is the new king. 4 or 5 random, unconnected words are infinitely stronger than any complex 8-character password you can invent. But this creates a new problem. Okay, so now I need a unique, long passphrase for every single website. How on earth am I supposed to remember 4 purple monkeys ate tacos for my bank, and blue kettle ran over the mountain for my email, and hundreds of others? You're not. And you shouldn't even try. This is where a password manager comes in. Think of a password manager as a highly secure digital vault. You create one and only one incredibly strong master passphrase to unlock this vault. Something long and memorable only to you. Inside that vault, the password manager creates, saves, and remembers a unique, ridiculously complex 25-character random password for every single website you use. You no longer know or even need to know your password for your bank. It could be x7 cura .*vn2 #KL at GBWF5 and UY. And it doesn't matter because you never type it. When you go to your bank's website, the password manager, through a browser extension, recognizes the site and automatically fills in that unique, secure password for you. Now, the first question everyone asks is, isn't that putting all my eggs in one basket? And the answer is yes, but it's an incredibly well-armored basket. Reputable password managers are built on a zero-knowledge architecture. This means all your data, your entire vault of passwords, is encrypted and decrypted locally on your own device using your master passphrase. They, the company that makes the software, cannot see your passwords. They don't have your master passphrase. Even if they were hacked, the thieves would only steal a file of meaningless, encrypted gibberish that they can't unlock. The only way in is with your master passphrase, which only you know. It's the single most effective way to manage your digital security. But even a perfect passphrase and a password manager aren't enough. Because what if someone tricks you into giving them your password? This is where we add the final and most critical layer of defense. It's called multi-factor authentication, or MFA. You've probably also heard it called two-factor authentication, or 2FA. The concept is simple, but its power is immense. It means that to log in, you need more than just something you know, like your password. You also need something you have, like your phone. The best analogy is your house. Your password is the key to your front door. If a thief steals your key, they can walk right in. But with multi-factor authentication, it's like having a security guard standing at your door. Even after the thief uses the stolen key, the guard stops them and says, "Hold on. I need to see your ID to prove you're really you." The password gets them to the door, but the second factor is what proves your identity and lets you inside. A criminal in another country might steal your password, but they don't have your physical phone in their hand. Now, not all forms of MFA are created equal. There are 3 common levels. The first and most common is a code sent to you via SMS text message. This is good. It is 1,000 times better than not having MFA at all, but it has a known vulnerability. It's susceptible to an attack called a SIM swap. This is where a scammer calls your mobile phone provider, pretends to be you, and convinces the customer service agent to transfer your phone number to a new SIM card they control. If they succeed, your text messages, including those security codes from your bank, now go to their phone. It's not easy to pull off, but it happens. That's why the second level, which is much better, is using an authenticator app. Apps like Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator, or Authy are installed on your phone. When you set them up with a website, that site gives the app a secret key. From then on, the app uses that key and the current time to generate a new 6-digit code every 30 seconds, right on your device. It doesn't use the cellular network. The code is generated completely offline. This means even if a scammer pulls off a SIM swap and steals your phone number, it does them no good. They don't get the codes because the codes are tied to your physical device, not your number. This is the method you should be using for all your important accounts. But there is a gold standard. The third and most secure level is a physical security key. This is a small device, often looking like a tiny USB drive, that you plug into your computer or tap to your phone. When you log in with your password, the website prompts you to touch the button on your key. This sends a unique, encrypted cryptographic signature that proves it's you, and you are physically present at that device. This is virtually unphishable. A scammer can't trick you into giving them your fingerprint or telling them to touch a button on a key they don't have. For your most critical accounts, your primary email, your password manager, your main financial institution, a physical key offers the highest level of personal security available today. So, your immediate action item right now is to go into the security settings of your primary bank and your primary email account. Look for the option called multi-factor authentication, two-factor authentication, or login verification. Turn it on. And if you have the choice, choose to use an authenticator app over SMS. It is the single most powerful step you can take to protect your digital financial life. So now your digital front door is locked and guarded. Your passwords are long, unique passphrase stored in a vault, and you have a digital security guard demanding a second form of ID. But what about the messages that come to your door? The emails, the texts, the calls trying to trick you into opening it for them? That's where the real psychological warfare begins, and it's called phishing. We're going to break down exactly how those scams work, and how to spot them from a mile away. Phishing is a game of deception, a digital magic trick. The scammer's goal is to make you look at one hand, the flashy, urgent, scary problem they just invented, so you don't see what the other hand is doing. Reaching for your wallet. They're not hacking systems with complex code, they're hacking you. They're exploiting human psychology, our trust, our fear, and our desire to quickly fix a problem. Let's walk through a classic example. Imagine a guy named Mark. He's at work, it's a Tuesday afternoon, and he's trying to get through a pile of emails. Suddenly, a new one pops into his inbox. The subject line is in all caps, urgent security alert. Unauthorized login attempt detected. The sender appears to be his bank, Patriot National Bank. Mark's heart skips a beat. He immediately thinks, oh no, did someone get into my account? Is my money gone? He clicks open the email. It looks official. It has the bank's logo at the top, the same colors they use on their website. The text is serious and direct. It reads something like this: Dear valued customer, our system has detected a suspicious login to your online banking account from an unrecognized device in Moscow, Russia. If this was not you, your account may be compromised. For your protection, we have temporarily suspended your account. To restore access and secure your account, please click the link below and verify your identity immediately. Failure to do so within 24 hours will result in permanent account closure. And then there's a big blue official-looking button that says, Secure my account. Mark is in a state of controlled panic. Moscow. He's never been to Moscow. This feels real. The threat of his account being permanently closed makes his stomach tighten. His first instinct, his gut reaction, is to click that button and fix this problem right now. And that is exactly what the scammer is counting on. But let's pause. Let's take a breath and become digital detectives. Let's look at this email again. Not with Mark's panicked eyes, but with a critical eye. The first thing we check is the sender. The display name says Patriot National Bank, but that's like the name written on the outside of an envelope. It can say anything. We need to look at the postmark, the actual email address it came from. When we hover our mouse over the sender's name, the real address pops up. It's not security at patriotnationalbank.com. It's something like pnb-alerts.84k at secure-messaging.net. That's red flag number 1. It's a jumbled, nonsensical address from a domain that has nothing to do with his bank. Next, look at the greeting. Dear valued customer. Think about it. When your bank emails you, they know who you are. They use your name. Dear Mark Johnson. A generic greeting like Dear Customer or Hello Account Holder is a massive red flag. It means the scammer sent this exact same email to thousands, maybe millions of people, hoping a few of them, like Mark, happen to be customers of that bank. That's red flag number 2. Now let's analyze the message itself. Read the language. Unauthorized login, account compromised, temporarily suspended, permanent account closure. It's all designed to trigger an emotional response, fear. They're creating a sense of extreme urgency. Verify your identity immediately. Failure to do so within 24 hours. This is a classic high-pressure sales tactic, but for theft. They don't want you to have time to stop, think, and maybe call your bank. They want you to react on pure emotion. That's red flag number 3. Then there are the little mistakes. Sometimes, these emails are riddled with spelling and grammar errors. Maybe it says, your account has been temporarily blocked, or click here to verify. These are often giveaways that the email wasn't written by the professional communication team of a major US bank. Even if the grammar is perfect, the tone can just feel off. A little too dramatic, a little too threatening. Trust your gut. That's red flag number 4. Finally, we come to the most dangerous part of the whole email, the link. That big blue button that says, Secure my account. Just like with the sender's address, you never take a link at face value. Before you even think about clicking, hover your mouse over it. A little box will pop up showing you the actual web address it will take you to. The text on the button is a lie. The real destination isn't patriotnationalbank.com. It's something like www.pnbsecurelogin.info/verify.php. It's a completely different website, cleverly designed to look like the real one, but it's a trap. This is the biggest red flag of all. This is the digital equivalent of a door that says Bank Vault, but actually opens into a dark alley. This same psychological playbook is used across different platforms. It's not just email. There's smishing, which is phishing done through SMS text messages. You might get a text that says, FedEx, your package delivery has been delayed. Please confirm your shipping address here, followed by a strange-looking link. Or maybe it's, Bank of America alert. We've detected unusual activity. Please sign in at malicious link to review. The goal is the same. Create a sense of urgency or curiosity that makes you tap that link on your phone without thinking. And then there's vishing, or voice phishing. This is when the scammer calls you on the phone. The caller ID might even be spoofed to look like it's coming from your bank's real number. A friendly, professional-sounding person on the other end says they're from the fraud department. They tell you there's a problem with your account, and to fix it, they need you to verify your identity. They might ask for your social security number, your password, or the security code on the back of your card. Or even more sneakily, they'll say, we're going to send you a verification code to your phone. Please read it back to me to confirm it's you. What they're actually doing is using the forgot password feature on your real bank account. The code you read back to them is the one that lets them reset your password and lock you out. So, how do you defend against all of this? How do you navigate a digital world full of these traps? It all boils down to one golden rule. A single principle that will protect you from nearly all of these attacks. Always initiate the contact yourself through a trusted channel. If you get an email like the one Mark got, don't click the link. Don't reply. Just delete it. If a tiny part of you is worried that it might be real, that there might actually be a problem with your account, that's fine. But you don't use their email to solve it. You take matters into your own hands. You close the email, open a new web browser window, and you manually type in your bank's official website address, one you know by heart or have bookmarked. Or you flip over your debit card, find the customer service number printed there, and call it yourself. The same goes for texts and phone calls. Get a weird text? Delete it. Get a call from someone claiming to be your bank? Tell them, thank you, I'll hang up and call the number on the back of my card to follow up. A real bank employee will understand and even encourage this. A scammer will get flustered. They'll try to keep you on the line, ramping up the pressure, telling you there's no time, that you have to fix it right now. That's how you know it's a scam. You are in control. You choose when and how you interact with your financial institutions. By following this one simple rule, You initiate, you verify, you take away the scammer's greatest weapon: their ability to create a false reality and rush you into making a mistake. You step out of their game and back into the real world, where you can check the facts for yourself. So you've learned to spot the bait. You know how to recognize the fake email, the suspicious text, the high-pressure phone call. But what happens if the hook is set? What does the trap actually look like on the other side of that click? In the next part, we'll walk through a fake banking website, pixel for pixel, to show you how they steal your username and password in plain sight. Alright, you've clicked the link. The email looked legitimate, the text message had a sense of urgency, and now you're on the other side. What you see is comfortingly familiar. It's your bank's login page. The logo is perfect, crisp, and exactly where it should be. The color scheme, that specific shade of blue or green you've seen 1,000 times, is spot on. The font, the layout of the username and password boxes, the little marketing banner on the side advertising new mortgage rates. It's a digital carbon copy. A perfect forgery. This is the first and most powerful stage of the deception. It's designed to disarm you completely, to make your brain switch from a state of high alert to autopilot. You're not thinking about security anymore. You're just thinking about logging in to check your balance. But hold on. Before you type a single character, your most powerful weapon is right in front of you, and it's the one thing 99% of people never check. Look up. Look at the very top of your browser at the address bar. The URL. This is the digital fingerprint of the website, and it's nearly impossible to fake perfectly. A real bank, let's say American National Bank, will have a simple, clean URL. It will be something like americannationalbank.com or anb.com. The critical part is the section right before the .com or .net or .org. That is the true domain name. Now look at the fake one. It might be americannationalbanksecurity.com or loginanbportal.net, or something even more clever like americannationalbank.com.updates.info. In that last example, your brain sees americannationalbank.com and stops reading. But the real domain name there is updates.info. Everything before it is just a subdomain, a label the scammer created to trick you. It's the digital equivalent of someone putting a fake White House sign on the lawn of a random building in another city. The sign looks convincing, but the address, the fundamental location, is wrong. And what about that little padlock icon? For years, we were trained to look for the lock to know a site was secure. That advice is now dangerously outdated. All that padlock means is that the connection between your computer and the website is encrypted. Scammers can get encryption certificates for free in about 5 minutes. So yes, the connection to their fake website is secure. Your information is being securely delivered directly into the hands of a criminal. The padlock is a necessary feature, but it is absolutely not a sign of legitimacy. The true domain name is the only thing you can trust. But let's say you miss it. Most people do. You're in a hurry, the site looks right, so you type in your username and your password. You hit enter. What happens next isn't an error message. It's not a broken page. That would be too suspicious. Instead, you see a little spinning wheel. A loading icon. Maybe the words "verifying your credentials, please wait" appear on the screen. Feels professional. Feels normal. But in that 2-second span, a script on the webpage has captured your username and password, bundled them up, and sent them to a server controlled by the scammer, potentially thousands of miles away. They have it. The first lock to your financial life has just been picked. But the scam is far from over. They don't just want to log into your account. They want to become you. The spinning wheel disappears and a new page loads. It says something like, "For your enhanced security, we need to confirm your identity. Please provide the following information to continue." And underneath there are new boxes. First, it asks for your full social security number, then your date of birth, then maybe your mother's maiden name. It might even present you with the security questions you set up years ago. What was the name of your first pet? What city were you born in? Your brain, still in that mode of trust, thinks, "Oh, this is just like when I call them." They ask these questions to verify it's me. You dutifully fill in every box. With each piece of information you provide, you are handing the scammer another key. Your username and password let them into your bank account. Your social security number, date of birth, and personal answers allow them to bypass security protocols, to call the bank pretending to be you, to change your password, to lock you out of your own account, and most terrifyingly, to apply for new credit cards and loans in your name. This has escalated from a simple account takeover to full-blown identity theft. And they still aren't done. After you've provided your most sensitive personal data, another page loads. This one is the masterstroke. It might say, "Please verify the card linked to your account." And there it is. Boxes asking for your 16-digit debit card number, the expiration date, and the 3-digit CVV code on the back. The justification seems plausible. Banks are always trying to connect your online profile with your physical cards. So you pull out your wallet, turn over your card, and type in the numbers. Click. In that instant, they now have everything they need to go on an online shopping spree. They can buy electronics, gift cards, anything they can get shipped to a drop-off point or delivered digitally. They have your login, your identity, and now your direct spending power. You have given them the keys to every single door. So what happens now? The perfect scam doesn't end with a 404 error. After you enter your card info and hit submit, one of two things usually happens. The first and more common is a simple, plausible error message. Something like, "We're sorry, our online system is experiencing technical difficulties. Please try again in a few hours." This is brilliant because it makes you, the victim, blame the bank. You just think, "Ugh, typical. The website is down again." You close the browser and go about your day, completely unaware that your financial life has been compromised. The scammer has now bought themselves a precious window of time to act. The second, more sophisticated ending is even more insidious. After you hit submit, the fake website instantly redirects you to the real banking website. You land on the actual legitimate login page. You might think, "That's weird, it just kicked me back to the start." So you try logging in again. This time with the real site it works perfectly. You get in, you see your account balance, everything looks normal. And your brain rationalizes what just happened. "I must have just typed my password wrong the first time." You completely forget about the pages that ask for your social security number and card details. You assume it was all part of a normal, if slightly buggy login process. The theft was so smooth, so seamless, you didn't even realize it happened. It was a silent digital mugging. The hook has been set, the trap has sprung, and the loot has been collected. In less than 2 minutes, the scammer has your login credentials, the core components of your identity, and your credit card information. The digital heist is complete. But the money isn't gone yet. The next 60 minutes are the most critical. This is the golden hour for the thief, the window where they turn your data into cold, hard cash. So what is their first move? How do they drain your account before the bank's fraud algorithms can even raise a flag? The scammer's playbook for liquidating your assets is a terrifying display of speed and efficiency. Their first move isn't what you'd think. It's not a massive, clumsy transfer that screams theft. That would trigger every alarm bell at the bank. No, their first move is surgical. It's about control. Before they touch a single dime, they lock you out. They storm the digital castle and raise the drawbridge behind them. The very first thing they do is change your contact information. They go into your profile settings and switch your email address to one they control. They change your phone number to a burner number. Why? Because this immediately cuts your communication line with the bank. The fraud alerts, the two-factor authentication codes, the "Did you just attempt a login from a new device?" emails, they all stop coming to you. They now go directly to the thief. You are now flying blind, completely unaware that your financial life is being dismantled. Next, they change your password and security questions. Now you can't even log in to see what's happening. You might try to reset your password, but the reset link? It goes to their email address. The security questions you set up years ago, your mother's maiden name, the street you grew up on, are now replaced with answers only they know. In the space of about 90 seconds, they have made your own bank account a fortress that you cannot penetrate. You have been digitally exiled. This is the critical golden hour for the scammer. They know the clock is ticking. They have a limited window before you realize something is wrong, get suspicious, and pick up the phone to call the bank directly. Every action they take from this point forward is designed for maximum speed and obfuscation. With you locked out, they perform step 2, the test. They initiate a very small transaction, something most people would barely notice. A $5 transfer, a $10 payment through a peer-to-peer service. This isn't about the money. It's a probe. It's the burglar gently jiggling the doorknob before kicking the door in. This small transaction confirms 3 things for them. First, it verifies that the stolen credentials are valid and the account is active. Second, it tests the bank's automated fraud detection. A $5 transfer almost never triggers a high-level alert. Third, it confirms that their control over the account is complete. The transfer goes through, the notification goes to their burner email, and you, the rightful owner, see nothing. The test is a success. The path is clear. Now the main event begins. This is where the real damage is done, through a process law enforcement calls layering. The goal of layering is to create a transaction trail so complex, so convoluted, that it becomes nearly impossible to follow the money. They are creating a financial maze. They start by moving a large sum, but not everything, from your checking account to your savings account or vice versa. This internal transfer seems innocuous to a bank's algorithm. It's still your money, just in a different one of your own accounts. But then, from that savings account, they execute a transfer to an external account. This isn't just any account. It belongs to what's known as a money mule. A money mule is a person who, knowingly or unknowingly, transfers illegally acquired money on behalf of others. These mules are often recruited through what look like legitimate work-from-home job offers for payment processors or financial agents. Or, in more tragic cases, they are victims of romance scams, convinced by a person they've never met to help move some funds for them. The scammer sends $5,000 from your account to Money Mule A. They send another $6,000 to Money Mule B. They send $4,000 to Money Mule C. These mules have been instructed to immediately withdraw the cash and wire it elsewhere, or, more commonly, to buy cryptocurrency with it. The money has now left your account and crossed into accounts at completely different financial institutions, belonging to people scattered across the country. The trail is already getting muddy, but they don't stop there. The scammer will instruct Money Mule A to send half of their funds to Money Mule D, and the other half to Money Mule E. Money Mule B is instructed to send their funds to a crypto exchange. This process repeats, a dizzying digital shell game. Money is bounced between a dozen different mules and platforms in a matter of minutes. Each hop adds a new layer of complexity, making it a nightmare for forensic accountants to unravel. They are deliberately creating a storm of transactions to overwhelm the system. While the bank's fraud department is just beginning to notice the first unusual transfer, the money has already been laundered through 5 subsequent accounts. Simultaneously, the scammer is using your account for other forms of liquidation. They link your bank account to peer-to-peer payment apps like Zelle, Venmo, or Cash App. The reason they love these services is speed. Unlike a traditional bank transfer that can take a day or two to clear, these payments are often instant and irreversible. They will send the maximum daily limit, say $2,000, to another Mule account. The instant that money hits the Mule's app, it's transferred out again to another, and another. It's like a financial hot potato, and it cools off into untraceable cash in minutes. The final and most devastating liquidation method is converting your dollars into something that lives outside the banking system entirely: cryptocurrency. This is the scammer's endgame. They will use your funds to purchase Bitcoin or Ethereum on a mainstream exchange. But they don't hold it there. That's too traceable. They immediately transfer that Bitcoin to a private, non-custodial wallet, one they control completely. From there, they might use a service called a mixer or tumbler, which pools your stolen crypto with thousands of other transactions, both legitimate and illicit, and spits it out in smaller, random amounts to different addresses, effectively erasing its history. Or, for the ultimate in untraceability, they'll swap it for a privacy-focused cryptocurrency like Monero. With these coins, the sender, receiver, and amount of every single transaction are hidden by default. Once your money is converted into a privacy coin, it has, for all practical purposes, vanished from the face of the earth. It is gone. There is no public ledger to trace, no central authority to subpoena. Think about the speed of this entire operation. From the moment they gained access, to the moment your life savings were converted into untraceable digital assets, could be less than an hour. While you're at work, at the gym, or sleeping, a sophisticated criminal on the other side of the world has breached your defenses, locked you out, tested the waters, laundered your money through a network of unwitting accomplices, and then made it disappear into the ether of the blockchain. They never had to step foot in a bank. They never had to show a fake ID. They just needed your username, your password, and 1 hour to execute a plan that is ruthlessly efficient and terrifyingly effective. By the time you realize you can't log into your account, the money is already gone. The crime is already over. All that's left is the discovery. That moment of discovery is a unique kind of silence. It's not the absence of sound. It's the sound of your world grinding to a halt. You're staring at a screen at a number that makes no sense. 0. Or maybe a negative number. You blink. You refresh the page. The number doesn't change. It's a digital punch to the gut. The first thought isn't even panic. It's confusion. A mistake. It has to be a system glitch. You try to log out and log back in, but this time the screen says, "Invalid credentials." And that's when the cold dread begins to seep in. The confusion evaporates, replaced by a surge of adrenaline, so intense it feels like ice water in your veins. Every heartbeat pounds in your ears. This isn't a glitch. This is real. This is happening. What you do in the next 60 minutes can define the next 60 months of your life. This is no longer a theoretical exercise. You are now the victim of a federal crime, and you are on the clock. The thieves are counting on your confusion, on your panic, on you freezing up. We will not let them win. You need to shift from a state of victimhood to a state of action. Think of yourself as the first responder to your own financial emergency. There is a protocol. There is a plan. Your first call is not to your spouse, not to your friend, not to a family member. Your first and most critical call is to your bank's fraud department. Find the number on the back of your debit card or on their official website. Do not Google it, as scammers create fake websites with phony numbers. When you get a representative on the line, you must be calm, clear, and precise. This is not the time for a long, emotional story. This is the time for facts. State your name, your account number, and these magic words. I am reporting unauthorized transactions on my account. Use that specific phrase. Unauthorized transactions. This is key. This phrase triggers specific legal protections under a federal law called the Electronic Fund Transfer Act, or Regulation E. This is your shield. Under Regulation E, your liability for unauthorized debit card transactions is limited, but only if you report it in a timely manner. If you report a lost or stolen card before any fraudulent charges are made, you have zero liability. If you report it within 2 business days of learning about the loss or theft, your liability is capped at $50. If you wait longer than 2 days, that liability can jump to $500. And if you fail to report an unauthorized transaction that appears on your statement within 60 days, you could be liable for the entire amount. The clock started ticking the moment you saw that zero balance. Tell the bank representative every single transaction you do not recognize. They will immediately freeze your accounts to prevent further losses. They will cancel your debit cards and issue new ones. They will begin an investigation. Get a case number. Write it down. Get the name of the person you spoke to. Write it down. Ask them what the next steps are and when you can expect to hear from them. Write it all down. You are now creating a paper trail and evidence log for your own case. Once you hang up with the bank, the work is not over. It has just begun. The thieves didn't just get into your bank account. They got in through a door. We need to find that door and lock it, then board it up. Most likely that door was your email. Your email account is the skeleton key to your entire digital life. It's where password reset links are sent. It's the hub of your online identity. You must assume it is compromised. Log into your email account immediately. If you can't, use the account recovery process. Once you are in, change your password to something long, complex, and brand new. Don't use a variation of your old password. Think of a random, strange sentence and add numbers and symbols. While you're in there, check your settings for any forwarding rules. Thieves will often set up a rule that automatically forwards all your incoming mail to an address they control. They see everything you see. Delete any rules you didn't create. Finally, enable two-factor authentication. Make it mandatory for anyone, including you, to enter a code from your phone to log in. This one step makes it exponentially harder for a thief to regain access. After your primary email is secure, you need to begin the painstaking process of changing the password on every single important online account you have. Other financial institutions, social media, shopping sites, everything. It's a digital scorched earth policy. Assume everything was compromised and act accordingly. With the immediate financial and digital bleeding stopped, your next step is to create an official record of the crime. You need to file a police report with your local law enforcement. Some people think this is a waste of time. They think the police won't be able to do anything. That's not the point. The police report is not about catching the criminal, who is likely in another country. The police report is your official, legal document proving you were the victim of a crime. It's your sworn statement. Your bank, your credit card companies, and the credit bureaus will require this report as proof for your fraud claims. When you file, give them all the information you have. The bank, the transaction dates and amounts, and the case number from your bank's fraud department. Get a copy of the report. Add it to your evidence file. Next, you go federal. You need to report the identity theft to the Federal Trade Commission at identitytheft.gov. This is the federal government's central resource for victims. Filling out a report here will generate a personalized recovery plan, and an official FDC identity theft report. This report is even more powerful than a police report in some cases, and is a critical tool for clearing your name. You should also consider filing a complaint with the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, known as IC3. This helps federal law enforcement track these criminal networks and identify larger patterns of cybercrime. Now we must protect your future. The thief who stole your money may have also stolen enough of your personal information, your social security number, your date of birth, to try and open new lines of credit in your name. They took your cash today. They want to borrow against your good name tomorrow. To prevent this, you must contact the 3 major credit bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. You have 2 primary moves here. The first is to place a fraud alert on your credit file. This alert tells potential lenders that they must take extra steps to verify your identity before issuing credit. A fraud alert typically lasts for 1 year. But a fraud alert is just a request. For maximum protection, you need a credit freeze. A credit freeze, also known as a security freeze, is a far more powerful tool. It restricts access to your credit report, which means most creditors can't open a new account in your name while the freeze is in place. You can temporarily lift the freeze if you need to apply for credit yourself, and then reinstate it. It used to cost money to freeze and unfreeze your credit, but thanks to a federal law, it is now completely free. You must contact each of the 3 bureaus individually to place the freeze. This step is not optional. It is your ultimate defense against the thief weaponizing your identity long after they've spent your money. This entire process is a grueling, emotionally draining marathon that you are forced to run at the speed of a sprint. Feels unfair. Feels violating. You will feel a mix of anger, fear, and even embarrassment. But every step you take, calling the bank, securing your email, filing the reports, freezing your credit, is a step that takes power back from the criminals. You are moving from being a passive victim to an active defender of your own life. You are fighting back. And while this initial battle is about damage control and containment, the war for your long-term security is just beginning. We've locked the doors and sounded the alarms, but how do we rebuild the fortress? How do we make sure that every digital wall is reinforced, every vulnerability is patched so that this never, ever happens again? That's the final piece of the puzzle. It's a shift from a reactive state of panic to a proactive state of power. This isn't about a checklist you complete once and forget. It's about building a digital lifestyle, a set of habits so ingrained they become second nature. It's about transforming your online presence from a soft, easy target into a hardened, resilient fortress that discourages attackers before they even begin. First, let's talk about the bedrock of this new fortress, your password strategy. For years, we've been told to create complex passwords with numbers, symbols, and a mix of cases. And that's good advice, but it's incomplete. The human brain simply isn't designed to create and remember dozens of unique, truly random passwords for every single account we own. The result? We reuse them. We create patterns. And that's the vulnerability. The modern solution, the absolute gold standard, is a password manager. Think of it as a digital vault. You create one single, incredibly strong master password, the only one you ever have to remember. Inside that vault, the password manager generates and stores brutally complex, unique passwords for every website, app, and service you use. When you need to log in, it fills them in for you. This single change eliminates the risk of a breach on one site compromising all your other accounts. It's the single most impactful step you can take to upgrade your security overnight. It moves you from playing defense with a handful of weak keys to playing offense with a master keymaker that forges an unbreakable key for every door. But a strong door isn't enough. We need a deadbolt. That deadbolt is multi-factor authentication, or MFA. You've seen it before. After you enter your password, a site asks for a code from your phone. That's MFA. And it should be enabled on every single account that offers it, especially your banking and email accounts. Why is it so crucial? Because even if a scammer steals your password, they can't get in without that second factor. The code from your phone, a tap on an app, or even a fingerprint. They have the key, but they can't get past the bodyguard standing at the door. Now, there are different levels of MFA. The most common is a code sent via SMS text message. This is good, and it's infinitely better than nothing. But a more secure method is using an authenticator app, like Google Authenticator or Authy. These apps generate time-sensitive codes directly on your device, making them resistant to scams like SIM swapping, where a criminal hijacks your phone number. Treat MFA not as an optional feature, but as a mandatory security layer. It is the single biggest obstacle you can place between a thief and your money. With our access points secured, we need to reinforce the walls of the fortress itself. This means keeping your software and devices updated. Those constant notifications to update your system or update your app aren't just about adding new emojis. They frequently contain critical security patches that fix vulnerabilities discovered by security researchers. Hackers actively search for devices running old, unpatched software because they are full of known, exploitable weaknesses. By delaying updates, you are essentially leaving a window open for them. Set your devices to update automatically. Think of it as your fortress having a crew that works around the clock, automatically repairing any crack in the walls the moment it's found. Next, we have to secure our lines of communication. Every time you connect to the internet, you're sending your data across a network. If you're at home on your private, password-protected Wi-Fi, that's relatively safe. But if you're on public Wi-Fi at a coffee shop, an airport, or a hotel, you are broadcasting your information on an open, untrusted network. It's like shouting your secrets in a crowded room. Anyone on that same network with the right tools could potentially intercept your data. The solution for this is a virtual private network, or VPN. A VPN creates a secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet. All of your data travels through this private tunnel, making it unreadable to anyone trying to snoop on the public network. Using a VPN on public Wi-Fi is the digital equivalent of moving your sensitive conversation from that crowded room into a soundproof, private office. It's an essential tool for anyone who travels or frequently uses public internet access for anything more than casual browsing. Now we've reinforced the technology. We've built the walls, locked the doors, and posted guards. But the most sophisticated fortress in history can be brought down if someone inside willingly opens the gate. The final and most critical component of your security is you. You are the gatekeeper. We have to cultivate a mindset of healthy skepticism. The vast majority of successful cyberattacks don't start with a brilliant hacker breaking through layers of code. They start with a simple, deceptive email or text message. A phishing attempt. They rely on tricking you, the user, into giving them the key. They prey on urgency, fear, and curiosity. An email saying your account is locked. A text about a suspicious charge. A message with a link to an amazing deal. Your new rule is this: trust but verify. Always. Did you get an email from your bank about a problem? Don't click the link. Close the email, open a new browser window, and type in your bank's web address yourself. Log in directly and check for any notifications there. Did you get a call from someone claiming to be from the IRS or tech support? Hang up. Find the official phone number for that organization on your own and call them back. The delete button is your most powerful security tool. Be ruthless with it. Unsolicited requests for information or immediate action should always be treated as a potential threat until you prove otherwise through your own, independent channels. This vigilance extends to what we share. In the age of social media, we often give away the keys to our own kingdom without a second thought. Your mother's maiden name, your first pet's name, the city you were born in. These are not just fun facts. They are the answers to common security questions. Scammers piece together this information from your public profiles to build a detailed picture of you, making it easier to impersonate you or guess their way into your accounts. Conduct a digital audit of yourself. See what information is publicly available and consider locking down your privacy settings. Finally, security is a team sport. The lessons we've covered throughout this entire series aren't just for you. Share them with your family. Talk to your parents, your children, your partner about these strategies. Your household's financial security is only as strong as its most vulnerable member. By educating those around you, you create a stronger collective defense. We started this journey by looking at the shadows, at the threats lurking in the digital world. We walked through the harrowing steps of what to do in the immediate aftermath of a breach. And now we've come to the final, most empowering part: building a future where that breach is incredibly unlikely to ever happen again. This isn't about being scared of the internet. It's about being smart. It's about understanding the rules of this new territory and using the powerful tools at your disposal to navigate it with confidence. You now have the blueprint. You have the knowledge to transform from a potential target into a formidable, well-defended fortress. The control is back in your hands. So my final request to you is this: don't just watch this and move on. Pick one thing. Just one. Do it right now. Go enable multi-factor authentication on your primary email account. Download a reputable password manager and start moving your passwords into it. Schedule a recurring calendar reminder to review your bank statements every Friday. Take one concrete action today to begin reinforcing your walls, because true security isn't a destination you arrive at. It's a practice you live by, starting now.